Okay, we've shown you sneak previews of Donkey Kong Country 2 on previous shows before the game came out, but you've probably been wondering if we would ever cover this game. After all, isn't this supposed to be the biggest and the best of video games? Well, don't get too excited. DKC 2 is an outstanding game, but the sheer gotta-have-it-or-die excitement that saturated players' minds during the release of the first game is simply just not there for this game. For the original, everyone had to buy it because of the graphics, which were revolutionary. Now, that initial frenzy is over. DKC undoubtedly raised consumer standards for video game quality. Perhaps too high, though. Whether consciously or unconsciously, we've all had thoughts of what games ought to be like now that we've seen the potential through DKC. And we're all more savvy and demanding than ever when it comes to this industry. Donkey Kong Country was our sneak preview to the future. And Donkey Kong Country 2 is, well, a second sneak preview. On the whole, the sequel is not much different from the original game, but DKC 2 does have some improvements that are worth noting. To reduce awkward play control on the maps, Rare got rid of the paths between the stage icons and replaced them with arrows that point in the direction of where a path would be. Checks appear over coins you've already collected in the bonus levels, so you know you've already covered the territory. The animation seems more detailed, especially when Diddy or Dixie climbs the ship's ropes in the early levels. New animal friends have been added to the cast of characters, including Rattly the snake, Clapper the seal, Glimmer the fish, and Squitter the spider. Old friends like Rambi now have super abilities too. Rambi can do a super fast horn charge if you press and hold A until he starts scraping his hoof on the ground, then let go. Squitter can make temporary webs by jumping up and, while in midair, pressing L and R together. Most importantly, players are more forced or encouraged to find and complete all the bonus levels and get a 102% score because of Clubba's 15-coin toll. Beyond the toll is the Lost World, which hints at a secret ending to the game, different from the normal ending. Indeed, a much more exciting ending awaits if you complete 102% of the game and clear the Lost World levels. Finding all the bonus levels in the first game changed the ending ceremony only by having Cranky Kong say something different. No additional graphics or story were presented, resulting in gamers feeling cheated since they did all that hard work for nothing. In DKC 2, you really have to work if you want to see the real ending. This game does have a few drawbacks. DKC 2's music is nowhere near as ear-catching as the original soundtrack. Also, some levels, like Webb Woods for example, are just downright irritating. Despite all the improvements, some players, especially older players, may really want to think long and hard about buying Donkey Kong Country 2. No matter what anyone says, Nintendo will still make a fortune off this game. Don't get us wrong, they deserve every penny. Our advice to Nintendo, however, is to be very careful in the future. Nintendo's most recent sequels, DKC 2 and Super Mario World 2, have been disappointing for some players. Perhaps these sequels aren't unique enough from their predecessors. Perhaps Nintendo is making its games for a younger audience. Remember when a Mario game involved great thinking and a puzzle-like action, not just hidden bonuses? That's the kind of gameplay Nintendo needs to regain. Let's face it, folks, no Donkey Kong game is as fun as the original Super Mario Bros. Was in its time, and RPGs like Chrono Trigger are finally becoming a mainstream type of video game, often more fun than platform games like Donkey Kong Country. Consumers in this industry are changing their tastes, their values, and their spending habits. They're guarding their money, even if it means not buying an excellent game like Donkey Kong Country 2. They're waiting for the next generation of video games from the Ultra 64, while others have plunged prematurely into systems like Sony's PlayStation or the Sega Saturn. Let's just hope our collective video game blues come to an end soon. We want new types of games. We want more challenge. We want more 3D gameplay. We want more sound and voices. We want more animated video sequences. And what we want is more, and we have the right to ask for it. Thank you, Diddy and Dixie, for showing us the future of video games. Someday we'll all look back and say, DKC and DKC 2, they started it all.